All right, what's going on, everybody? Put those there. Lean up against my pack. What's up? Oh, this isn't very comfortable. It's been a minute. I am in my basement right now, sitting on the floor of my basement. Kind of the only place that I have just to get away from everybody. I love everybody, but I like to be by myself sometimes too. So, sorry, it's been a while. Excuse me. The time that I have to sit down in my basement and talk to my phone is not often. So, back with another 4,000 footer podcast. This is where I just pick out a couple mountains out of the bag randomly, and we put them up on the chart here on the board, and it's a rainy Saturday, so we're going to see if we can't find a couple good stories in this bag here. So let's reach in and find it. I've been out a little bit lately, not in the whites so much. We just got back from Colorado. Make sure you check out those videos back. A couple videos back. Check out the videos from Crested Butte, Colorado. One of the best times of my life. Subscribe right now if you haven't, and like the video. Share it too. So, all right. Oh man. First one we pulled out, it's a great one. Bond Cliff. I don't know if that's focusing or not. Heat just kicked on. But the Bond Cliffs, I actually just posted a video not too long ago. I took my friend Jason out to the Bond Cliffs, JB, partner in crime here on the channel, and took him out to the Bond Cliffs for the first time. And that's a great video. That's not too many videos back, so if you want to check through it, look for that video. I'll put a link to it right up here. But let's see if I can get this backing off this. There we go. Find Bond Cliff. Bond Cliff is 4,265 feet. Now these heights, these altitudes on these mountains are not correct. I don't know why. Maybe some sort of copyright infringement or something. I don't know, but we're gonna say Bond Cliff is right there, right around 4,200 feet. And the most recent time, which is the video that you can check, is me and Jason I brought Jason up there because the first time I had done it was my cousin Russ and I. And I might actually have, if you scroll back through all of my videos, way back, all of my videos, I might have a video of us doing that. I actually ran to the Bond Cliffs a couple times, and they are in the Pemigewasset Loop, and so of course we did them in the Pemi Loop. I've never done West Bond. We haven't gotten there yet, but I've never done West Bond. That's a little secret of mine. We were doing the Pemi Loop and got to the offshoot. It's not on the trail. You have to run, I think it's 0.3 to the summit of West Bond, and I was not having it. I was like, no, I'll wait right here. So they went, my cousin and my uncle went to the summit of West Bond, and I waited. But that was after we had come from the Bonds and Bond Cliff. Bond Cliff is, I want to say it's like 11 miles from the trailhead. You're going to go into the Pemigewasset Wilderness, onto the Kank, to the Lincoln Woods trailhead, and take Lincoln Woods to Bond Cliff. I think that's the quickest way. Of course, unless you come over the Twins. There might be some other ways that I'm not sure of. If you do know some other ways to the Bond Cliffs other than the Lincoln Woods Trail, let me know in the comments below, because anybody who's been to the Lincoln Woods knows and done like anything in the Pemis, and then This house I'm staying in is creepy. Anyways, anybody that's been to the Lincoln Woods knows that it's long and never ending. So when you're doing something in the Pemigewasset Wilderness, whatever you do, you have to finish and end with this long straight flat that is the Lincoln Woods Trail. So that's not very fun, and it takes an extremely long time to get to the Bond Cliffs. But Bond Cliff is iconic. If you look back to that video, it says one of the most iconic hikes in New Hampshire, and definitely is. It's a huge, I want to say a couple 100-foot cliff, and there are different parts of it, but there's one particular part that's very photo worthy. A lot of people have pictures of. Scroll back through the videos and check it out. You'll appreciate it. So that's what I can tell you about the Bond Cliffs. It takes a long time to get there, but some of the best views that you're gonna get out of hiking in the White Mountains for sure. Grab another one here. Probably just do one more. Make this a quick little podcast today. Well, this one's going to go back in because I haven't done Owl's Head. Gone all around Owl's Head, especially because it's in the middle of the Pemigewasset Wilderness, like I was just talking about. When we did the Pemi Loop, you're looking at it the whole time because it's in the middle. But never done Owl's Head. Shake it up, shake it up. Whoa, this one just came shooting out at us. Boom! North Tri-Pyramid. I think North is the big one. North is the big Tri-Pyramid. So I have a crazy story about the Tri-Pyramid's fail. So when I first started like really venturing out into the mountains by myself. Okay, so hold on. Let's find it on here first. Middle Tri-Pyramid, North Tri-Pyramid. 4,160 feet they have it at. I'm sure it's like 4,200 feet or so. So there's north, middle, and south, obviously. I don't think Middle Tri-Pyramid is a 4,000 footer because of the rules about elevation and prominence. It's got to have like 200 feet of prominence within a half-mile range or something, and I don't think Middle does above north and south, but north 4,200 feet. North is where the slide is, and oh wait, no, Middle's right there. Maybe it's South Tri-Pyramid. I don't know. Anyways, it's one of those. One of the Tri-Pyramids doesn't count because of the prominence. I don't know which one. Comment below. Tell me which one. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that North has the slide, and the North slide on Tri-Pyramid is treacherous. JB will tell you about this. He brought his 12-year-old at the time son up there, and they went right up the middle of the slide. When I did it with my brother, and we did all three. I want to say it was right after. Yeah, it was like springtime, and we camped. We had a ton of gear, heavy packs. There's no lookouts. I mean, there are lookouts only on Tri-Pyramid. There are no 360-degree views on any of the Tri-Pyramids. So that kind of sucks because they're huge mountains, and they're definitely pyramids. Back in the day. So my failure was I want to say I was like 20, I was 20 something, because I worked with my uncles and I borrowed his snowshoes. And I had this idea that one weekend I was going to solo, and this was after like not hiking very much. Because when I was younger, of course, I did a ton of hiking. And then when you get into your adolescent, 16 to 20 something, don't have time for hiking. I have time for other things, living. But after you live, of course, then you find nature. And so I really started getting, spending my money on new gear and getting out into the mountains in my mid-20s. And I went into the Tri-Pyramids. I had this idea that I was going to go and climb the Tri-Pyramids, and this was like the beginning of March, so there was a ton of snow still. And so I get there, and I'm solo, and it was raining, so I was already getting wet. But I knew the rain was going to go away. I knew the rain would turn to snow the higher I got, so I was like ignorant, so I just kept pushing. The river, I parked at Sabaday Brook Falls. So I parked at the Sabaday Brook parking area and went up Sabaday Trail there. And there was so much melting from it being March, and the ice, the water was going over the ice. So the river was just raging, and it was so high because it was over the ice. So you had raging river water over a layer of ice on the river. It was absolutely terrifying. And if you know that trail and you know the Tri-Pyramids, you know that you have to cross that river. That was an impossibility. It was like you wouldn't even kayak that. Like it was treacherous. So I had snowshoes on, a big pack, and there was a spot where it was like there was a down tree that was far enough over the rushing water so that I didn't think I was going to fall, or that I didn't think I was going to touch it. I could have fallen. And it went out. The tree went out to a island in the middle of the river. But I didn't know what was on the other side of the island. But that was my best bet. It looked like what was on the other side of the island was small enough and not raging enough so that I could make it over. And I started out across that log. I decided to shimmy across with my snowshoes on. I was smart enough to unhook my pack so it wasn't strapped to my back in case I fell in. But I started shimmying across this log with my pack on, and this raging water that has ice underneath it, so it could pull you right underneath the ice. And I started shimmying across, and I was like, I'd tip to the left, but I could use so the snowshoes had fallen, like they were like this now, and my foot was like this. So I was holding myself up with my snowshoes, and got out to that island and realized that there was no way to get where I thought on the other side. So I had to go back across that log. That was some of the most treacherous shit that I've ever done. And I was by myself. And so I got really wet, and I decided to go up to the ridge. So I started hiking up to the ridge, which was off trail. So now I was getting more and more off trail just so that I could get some elevation and get away from the river. And got up there and decided to make camp. So I made camp, and it was a pretty comfy little camp. I dug myself out a little bit. I had my one-man tent. I got a fire going. Ate something. It wasn't a bad deal, but I went to go dry my clothes out, and when I did, my fire got a little too big, and I ended up burning my jacket, the back of my jacket, and the front of my jacket actually. My Convert, I had a Convert like snowboarding jacket, and I melted portions of the front and the front pocket and my socks before I realized what was happening. Huge rookie mistake. So that happened, and so I got in the tent, and I got on the tent, and I think I drifted off to sleep for a few, and it started to snow, and it started to snow hard, and I didn't have that much wood saved, built up, and my fire was getting lower, and I looked at my watch, and it was like 2:30 in the afternoon. It was like 2:30 in the afternoon. So I was like, oh my God. If I just stay here, I still have like 12 hours. Like, it was way too long. So I had the great idea of packing up and heading back in whiteout conditions, which had filled up my tracks into where I was. I realized that as I was headed down, it started to drift up, the snow started to drift up over my path as I was going back down the ridgeline to the river. But I knew where the river was, and I knew that I just went up the river, and all I had to do was go down the river, and I would come to Sabaday Brook. So that's what I did. I had snowshoes on and stuff, and went down the steep embankment and to the river, and then along the side of the river, and eventually hit the trail. And I got back to my truck at like 8 o'clock that night, something like that. And yeah, by the grace of God, I lived, and I didn't freeze to death, and I didn't fall in that river. But it's things like that that have sharpened me for things to come. So it's gonna do it for today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Be safe out there.